What's going on, y'all? I'm Brandon Atlanta Man Bang coming to you live right here at Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Another episode and season of Rubbin' and Grubbin', baby. Rubbin' is racing, grubbin' is tasting. Man, I can't wait to get this season kicked off. We got a lot to go over, NASCAR news and that clash coming up this weekend. A little bit of early season predictions. Not going to give out too many. I'm going to drop some of those here as we get closer to that 500 and the start to the actual regular season. But got a lot to go over, man. So if it's your first time tuning in, you know how we like to start it out. We always start it out with the word of the day. So basically the way we play this game is I'm going to say a word. I have no idea what it is. Lawrence is going to throw it on the screen. Every time I say it, make sure you take a sip of your favorite adult beverage. I always like to say it's age appropriate as well. If you're under 21, hey man, you know, school's in, but why not? It's Wednesday, a couple more days. Sweet tea, Red Bull, Kool-Aid, play along, stay up a little late, man. So today's word's going to be, I have no idea, but every time I say it, take a sip, y'all. So that NASCAR news, man, hey, we don't have to wait long. We got some cars coming back on track this weekend there at the Clash in LA. And I tell you what, I'm excited. Finally, it's been a long off season for us NASCAR fans, even though it's one of the shortest in sports. Doesn't matter. It's too long for us. You're rewatching reruns of races, whether they're classic or this year. Just a lot of stuff, man. But I cannot wait to get these cars on track once we get out there to LA, man. Going to be a cool event. You know, we're going to see how it goes down this year. We've seen it the past, year, couple years, and decent, interesting thing. I'm not a fan of the cautions. At least they don't count the laps, but we'll see what happens this year. Excited about it, man. Sunday, going down in LA, baby. So Carson Hocevar had a birthday, man. I don't have a nickname for Hocevar yet. We gotta give him a little bit. Let him get situated in the Cup Series before I nickname him. But had a birthday. I think it was Monday, man. So happy birthday out there to Carson Hocevar. Big moves for him, man. Jumped up rookie in the Cup Series this year to that 77 over there at Spire. They got a stable, man. Spire's got a stable with some really good talent. McCory LaJoy heading that up as far as experience. But I tell you what, with the addition of Carson Hocevar as well as Zane Smith, I mean, I think these guys are headed in the right direction for sure. I think you got some really young talent there behind the wheel that's got a good amount of talent. Obviously, we've seen what they both can do in the Truck Series. And then turning around, and we also got a little taste of Hocevar last year filling in there. And he did a really good job for the limited amount he ran in seat time in a Cup car. He did a really good job. So I'm excited for him. But happy birthday, Carson. Hope you enjoyed it, brother. So, hey, man, didn't take long. Word through the grapevine last year, we heard, and it talked about it, the EV, electric vehicle for NASCAR, working on that. And we get to see it premiered at the Clash. Not racing, none of that. Just, a little few laps around the track, I guess, and we get to see what it does. So word on the street is it's only a couple tenths off of what Cup Series are laying down. So that's pretty interesting there for me. I'm not a fan. I don't want to see it become the Cup Series. I mean, if they want to open up an EV vehicle, electric vehicle series on its own, or, coming along with like the trucks and Nation or Xfinity series, hey, I'm down for it, but I don't want to see electric cars on the track on Sunday. That's just not me. So we'll see what they do, but still interesting to see it. It's not a manufactured car, so it's not Ford, Toyota, Chevy, no brand like that, just NASCAR. Seen some pictures of it. If you haven't, go check it out on their website. You can find it. It's really neat little deal. So pretty amazing what technology can do. But again, I'm good with the gas and rubber and those fuels for my NASCAR racing. So hopefully they don't change it. So if you, oh man, I don't even know how I didn't start this out. Netflix dropped that full speed documentary series there for NASCAR. I tell you what, I haven't had a chance to watch it. I was going to watch it when it came out. My wife loves NASCAR, don't get me wrong, but documentary series might be pushing it a little bit as I lock the TV down every Saturday and Sunday. So I don't want to make her mad before the season already starts, but I am going to check it out. Seems interesting. It seems like, they've got a really good tone set, and I love what they're trying to do. I mean, we all know that, NASCAR is trying to get new viewership, trying to get some new fans involved. And what better way than streaming technology? I mean, everybody throws down on Netflix, especially younger generations. Maybe if they have interest in NASCAR, they'll go, hey, I'll check it out. Or maybe if they're like us and you've pretty much watched everything else on Netflix you have interest in watching, maybe you'll go, all right, well, NASCAR it is. So I get it. hopefully it adds some new fans, man, some more butts in the seat, and get it back to the glory days, man. But we're headed in the right direction, and I tell you what, that's something I enjoy watching for a sport that I grew up absolutely loving and still love to this day. So we're gonna see, man, but I'll let you know my feelings on it after I watch it. That'll be sometime here in the next few weeks, but I'll give you my recap and my feel for the Netflix doc series on NASCAR for sure. If you haven't yet, y'all, please go out, like, share, follow, all that social media. You can find us out there on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, but most of all, go check out YouTube, subscribe to our channel. I think we're up to like 308, 310 last time I looked, somewhere in that ballpark. So we gained a couple in the off-season, which is nice. So still trying to get to that 400 mark. We're going to give this Harvick helmet away. I know I've been talking about it, but we are giving this away here coming up soon. So again, every subscriber has a chance to win. Doesn't matter if you subscribe today, tomorrow, last year, 4 years ago, whenever. If you're subscribed, you have a chance to win this helmet. We're going to give it away here coming up. But like I said, man, go out, like, share, follow that social media, subscribe to that YouTube channel. If you got a NASCAR fan you know that isn't subscribed to Rubbin' and Grubbin', hey, man, throw them in there. Throw some comments where you're subscribing from, who your driver is. Love to interact with some fans out there, man. So definitely, like I said, go and check out that Rubbin' and Grubbin' YouTube page, man. So some more good news, man. Josh Williams will pilot the 16 of college racing in a handful of races this year in the Cup Series, which, Josh kind of got his claim to fame there for the park it. He parked it last year. Pretty sure that Atlanta, wasn't it, Lawrence? Parked her down there, man. So, hey, I love it. But I tell you what, this guy is, to me, it is the feel-good story of what NASCAR is, right? It's just that good old boy, down-to-earth, down-home, small team, trying to make some moves. And I tell you what, he's in some college equipment this year in the Cup Series, so I think that's awesome. I tell you what, if you haven't, go check him out. Just Google him and read about the charity work that this man does at a lot of local hospitals in and out of, not only on the NASCAR schedule as we go into cities, but in his local area. It's awesome. And I tell you what, man, hats off to Josh Williams. I know I got a new one, liking this hat. Going to be up here almost every week with this one outside of some sponsorship. It's the show's hat. But I tell you, man, he's just a real down-to-earth good dude. Takes, the little bit of fame that he has and the recognition that he has and just gives back to these children in these hospitals, man. So make sure you go check that out. And if you're looking for a guy to become a fan of, why not Josh Williams, man? Josh, good luck, brother. Hope you have some good runs. I do know that the Clash is one, and I do know that Atlanta, my home track, Atlanta man's home track, he'll be showcasing those skills in the Cup Series. So that's two. I think the rest are going to be released at a later date or announced at a later date. But hey, I'm excited, man. I can't wait to see you up there in Atlanta, brother. Go get them. So hey, just a couple weeks out, man, from the biggest race of the year in the Cup Series, the Daytona 500, the Great American Race. A lot of sports in their season with their biggest game of the year. Nah, NASCAR, we started out with the biggest race of the year, man. I tell you what, the damn Daytona 500 is where to go. We actually got some friends of the show going up, and these boys are supposedly going back-to-back from Daytona to Atlanta, which I haven't talked to them yet, but I can't wait to find out if they really make it. I hope they do, and knowing them, they probably will. If they say it, they usually mean it, so can't wait to see them up there in Atlanta, and I'm sure I'll get some pictures from Daytona, that's for sure, man. But can't wait for it. I think it's going to be great. Grand Marshal, man, come on. We got Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson again. I think he was Grand Marshal back in 2004 or 2008 at another NASCAR race. Can't remember, somewhere in that range. But man, what an awesome dude. This dude's just making moves. I mean, he trademarked The Rock, locked it down. They gave that to him. He's part owner in the WWE and the football leagues. I mean, actor. This man's resume is just clicking it off. So going to be an awesome deal to have The Rock be the Grand Marshal for the 500. Speaking of the 500, little pre-race entertainment, Mr. 305, a.k.a. Mr. Worldwide Pitbull himself, going to be rocking out the pre-race concert stage. So, hey, man, Daytona 500 is just getting better and better ticket-wise as we go on, man. And I tell you what, not only, is he out there rocking the stage, he's got a couple cars out there looking to win that 500. So who knows what kind of day it would be if Pitbull threw down the concert and we had Chastain or Daniel Suarez go out there and win the 500, man. You never know. It could happen. So, but 500 is going to be a spectacle for sure. So a little more news, man. Cup Series is going to be using a little bit of a different qualifying format. It's going to be a little bit different this year. I think barring Daytona and a couple other places. I'm not quite sure. But so basically, we're still going to do the two groups, Group A and Group B. You're going to have the top 10 cars, go into that pole round, as they call it, to see who, starts first. And 1 through 10 will still be in that last round of 10 cars that we see. But the outside and inside are going to be set off a group. So Group A is going to set the outside row. And Group B will set the inside row for the remaining spots, 11 through 36, or however many entries are in that race. So going to be a little bit different. I don't think it's really going to change too much of what we see, just the way they line up, and it'll take a couple weeks, I think, for us to get used to, as far as if you didn't catch qualifying and you just see, starting, but he qualified, he's here. Time speed won't have anything to do. So basically what I mean is, if you're let's say you're 12th, and your speed's faster than 11th, but he went out in Group A, you're not going to start ahead of that guy. So anyways, it's kind of a little bit different. Going to be neat, kind of interesting to see how it goes down, but that's one of the changes. Another changes that's pretty cool, I think it's going to be awesome, is pit road. So pit road is changed up a little bit to where now NASCAR has approved LED signs on pit road that can also rotate through sponsorship, which is going to be crazy. I think when you see it on TV, the shots down pit road, and you see all those pit stop signs, stall signs flipping back and forth between sponsors or a look or whatever it may be, it's going to be pretty cool, especially for those night races. So adding a little flare and glare there, and I'm not ashamed of that one at all. I think that's a really cool idea. A little more exposure for those sponsors that pretty much make that NASCAR world go round for a majority. So we're going to see how it works out, but I'm putting money on, I don't know, let's pick Denny Hamlin. I'm going to pick Denny Hamlin to be the first one that overshoots the box because he thought he was one stall ahead because the sign looked different. That's how I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it to the Weasel Denny, all right? So we'll see if that one comes to premonition. We ain't got long to wait, coming up Daytona. We'll see if that happens. But anyways. So that's going to wrap it up for the NASCAR news, y'all. Into my favorite segment of the show, the checkered flag for charity. Me and Lawrence hadn't really sat down and talked about where we're going yet with the checkered flag this year. But basically the way that we do this, so anybody new that's tuning in knows, whatever car number wins that race for the week, we throw that car number in. And if it's basically above Christopher Bell, so if Truex in the 19 wins, it's always going to be a 20. And then that money we raise up, we donate into a local cause or a local person that's in a really kind of tight bind, needs some help. Whether it be medical or whatever it may be, we really try to help them out. So, we're going to have some cool stuff up here at Coach's Corner this year. Probably going to wait till spring before we start really kicking it off. But we're going to have some Cooler Full of Joys. On the show itself, we've got, I think Lawrence might have another helmet. I've got some die casts that I went out and bought, some 24 scale die casts that we're going to be, giving away. We're going to, and also if you win something, you're getting a Rubbin' and Grubbin' t-shirt and koozie. I mean, that's pretty much how that goes. So we're definitely going to throw them in there, have some good giveaways, and hopefully raise some really good money for a local charity or a local person that's really in some need of some help. So it's my favorite part. That's what I love to do. I do got to give a big shout out to one of the main sponsors of the show, Arbor Man. We're getting ready to talk about it. Parker, hey, I love you, brother. Thank you for everything you do, man. So here it is, Who's Hot and Who's Not by Arbor Man Tree Service. Hey, best tree service in Savannah, locally owned, locally operated. Mr. Parker Eccles is handling business out there in the tree game. I'm telling you, man, he's cutting them up faster than they can grow them, it seems like, and which is, oxymoron, knock on wood. Pretty funny little joke there. But at the end of the day, man, I'm telling you, doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's full tree removal, stump grinding, getting some limbs cut back off the house. If you just need an estimate, make sure you give Parker Eccles a call over there at Arbor Man. You're going to see that number scrolling all night long on the screen. So make sure you jot it down, throw it out there, give my main man Parker Eccles a call over there at Arbor Man. Hey, I love you, brother. And as I always say, no job too big, too small. Give Parker a call, man. So getting into the who's hot, and starting out the season not having much to go off of as far as not really crazy news or anything like that. I'm kind of starting it off with like who I think really should start out number one on the hot list. And Lawrence is going to love it. It's defending Cup champion Ryan Blaney. I feel like, yeah, there he is right there. I feel like this is one for sure that definitely should. I know he didn't have like the most stellar season last year. It wasn't like he rolled off 8, 9, 10 wins, dominated, but he got hot when it mattered. And he came home with that first Cup championship, and that is a lot, man. A lot of drivers have raced their whole career and not won a Cup championship. So Ryan Blaney checked that box. He silenced a lot of haters out there. Big question is, coming into 2024, one, we know Ford has a new body, which the body looks pretty sick. I'm a Chevy man, but it looks pretty good. I think they're cheating. But anyways, we're going to find out. We're going to find out here coming up soon at Daytona how if and how they are cheating. But at the end of the day, I think that's big questions. We knew it last year. They changed that front up a little bit and kind of went for a little more drag, I think, than top speed in the aero. Kind of hurt them at some of the tracks. I think they went reverse on that this year. They're going to come with a good package. So I think they'll be competitive. Obviously, Ryan and Joey Logano and Austin Cindric being over there at Penske, to me, that is the top tier Ford team. RFK is coming, but that is top tier. So I don't predict too much of a fall off. I think Blaney might actually end up with a few more wins than what he had this past year. I think they show some dominance at a few tracks that Ford's really good at, and them in particular is good at, and maybe even Ryan's good at. So finding the speed, there again, qualifying good, no mistakes on pit road, and staying up front. We all know those are key to everybody having a successful race. And if he can do that, who knows? Maybe he'll go back to back. Back-to-back championships would be something. So it's been a few years. We'll see if he can do it. But right now, starting number 1 on the hot list. Number 2, come on, man. You guys should know Kyle the Martian Larson ain't falling too far off this list, man. I mean, at the end of the day, another great season there in 2023. Rolled off the wins. Really could have had a lot more than what he accumulated over that season when you go back and look at how close he was in a lot of them. I think the biggest question mark for Kyle this year, there again, is finishing those races. He did a really good job. I think he put himself in some bad positions, and there again, some of it wasn't his doing. Some of it was, on and off track. I mean, the Denny Hamlin incident, Chastain getting them there at Darlington, that's kind of a 50-50. He kind of dove it in there hard, too. It just kind of depends on what you look at. But at the end of the day, I think finishing those races and getting those checkers for him is going to be key. There again, we know that crew chief of Cliff Daniels is killer. It's one of the top 3 in the sport. The wholesale changes I saw him make on their car last year compared to what other people were, and I know if you watch the sport, you saw it. You pop the hood, and all of a sudden, he's from 25th, 24th, 20th up inside the top 10 running. They got that figured out. I don't know what they do. I have no idea. Don't ask me, but whatever it is, they got that figured out. So I think there again, getting those wins, putting himself in a little bit of a better position in entering the playoffs, and really kind of going forward after it with some good stage points and different things. He'll have another shot. I mean, let's be honest. He's definitely going to contend for another championship this year. So, again, as I mentioned earlier, Ford in general with that new body, I think Ford is going to be, they're on the hot list. They're on the hot list, man. And I tell you, it's just innovation. The biggest thing is them coming out with that new body style, kind of there again pushes forward for Toyota and obviously Chevy to come out with theirs. Ford's ahead of the game. Chevrolet's in a bind. Production on the Camaro has stopped. And you have to run a car that's been in production, I think, in the last 2 years, 4 years. Don't quote me on that, but it's somewhere in that range. They have to run a car on the track that is being produced by Chevy. Right now, hands are tied. I mean, at least you got this season and next season and maybe another one to figure it out. But at the end of the day, it's going to be interesting to see where Chevrolet goes with it, too. But I really expect big things from Ford. Like I said, we saw an uptick in performance there last year from RFK. I think that's huge. I think that having Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski not so much aligned with that Penske team, but, I'm sure Ford teams are going to share some info. And just seeing Ford in general run better last year than I felt like they had in some years past, it's really good. I think they're moving in the right direction, and I'm not going to jot the thunder. Again, like I said, I'm a Chevy guy. Always have been, always will be. Hendrick Motorsports in particular, I'm never going to leave the Hendrick stable unless they just absolutely disappear. But I don't see Jeff Gordon allowing that to happen. But at the end of the day, big things coming out of Ford. I think anybody that's a Ford fan should be excited. I think if we can see a resurgence of Stewart Haas, maybe not this year, but maybe next year. I think if we can see them kind of build on it this year with the new driver lineup they have there and get a little bit better as the season goes on, I think Ford can definitely contend for a lot of championships with years to come with the talent they have. So, going to be interesting, but Ford's on the hot list. On the not list, baby, and I got NASCAR on the not list, and I'm going to tell you why. It's these damn mufflers they talking about running. And as everybody knows, they tested it at Phoenix earlier in the year. I don't understand. I don't get it. It's loud. It's a race car. These guys, you can't tell me that a Cup Series car is going to be louder than a freaking, outlaw car when the engine's right behind you with no interior. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is. I've never got behind the wheel of either one. I have no idea. But all I'm saying is we can't be running mufflers, man. We just can't do it. But I know they are running mufflers at the Clash, which is probably state of California regulation or something. They probably made them put them on there, now that they have mufflers for them. Who knows? They got weird stuff over there in Cali. But running them there, and I think North Wilkesboro, if I'm not mistaken. I know there's two that they already lined it out that they will be running those mufflers. So I hate it. They're cold for that. They're on the not list. NASCAR, if you're listening, no mufflers. Can't be doing that. Get rid of it. Bad idea. Got to go. All right, now this hurts my feeling. I know y'all see this hoodie, but right now, my main man, Chase the Bulldog Elliott, is on the not list. And this is the first time since I've been doing the show he's ever started the season on the not list. And I'm not jocking him. I'm not jocking on him. He had a rough season last year, snowboarding injury, suspension for, doing what he had to do, which I still think was the right move. I don't care what anybody says. I'm glad nobody was hurt, but at the end of the day, glad he stood up for himself. If it happens again, I hope he does the same damn thing. But at the end of the day, not what I expected when he got back in the seat, and I know kind of, got to knock the rust off, and the communication with him and Alan Gustafson, yada, yada. So I'm thinking this year, Eddie DeHunt backed out, not the spotter any longer over there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that communication stuff goes in the Hendrick stable. It's also going to be interesting to see what happens with Alan Gustafson. I know a lot of people, as Elliott fans, were calling for his job last year. I'm not one of those guys doing that. I think that there again, when you come back from having the time off that you had and look at the drivers that Alan Gustafson, Josh Berry and Jordan and all these guys that kind of filled in that he, had to communicate with and kind of get it back. I don't think they ever really got a real good feel for what the car setup needed to be, base setup for Chase. I think they get that handled this year. I think they go back to their winning ways. Prediction for Chase Elliott, which I got to wait to see Matt Harrington because I know we're going to throw something on this. I'm going to take the same that I took last year. I'm going to go over 4 wins. I'm going to go over 4 wins in the 2024 season for Chase Elliott. I think that he's healthy. Little minor shoulder surgery, no big deal. I think he's healthy. I think they get time to go and really correct that end of the year last year and really have something to prove this year. I think he's hungry. I think he's ready. I think Allen's got some things to prove as well. So at the end of the day, right now on the knot, but I expect by at least halfway through the first 10 races, week 5, if it takes that long, he'll be back on the hot list, man. So go get him, Chase. You watching, buddy? Go get him, Bulldog. All right, man. Also, a little shot at NASCAR for the not list. Look, what's the deal with 500-mile races going away? I'm upset. I love 500-mile races. I think the extra 100 miles at the end really showed the longevity and mechanical side of the car, the driver's endurance and durability. We're getting away from it. We got Daytona 500, Coca-Cola 600, Southern 500. We're down to a handful. They took the 100 away in the spring at Atlanta, which hurt my feelings. So that went from 325 laps down to 267 or 8. That's really hurts me. So hopefully an overtime or 2 while I'm up there in a few weeks. But at the end of the day, I understand it. Drivers are going, hey, this is long enough. I don't know. I still think that what we should do is caution laps should not count after you get into a certain amount of laps towards the end. Kind of like the green, white, checkered thing. Let's say you get in the last 10 laps. I think caution laps shouldn't count. That's just me. Now, granted, we could rack them back up and go 10 laps, 10 laps, 10 laps 100 times, but it's the same thing as going 3 laps, 3 laps, 3 laps. We could do that too 100 times, or maybe 5 laps, whatever it may be. I just know that on tracks like Daytona and this and that, I would much rather see 5 laps compared to 1 getting up to speed, 1 full speed, and then it's over. So maybe let's take a look at that. But at the end of the day, like I said, 500-mile races are great. I hope they bring them back. I hope NASCAR adds some back on there if we continue to grow in that upward direction as a sport. Bring some 500s back, man. We need some more of them, NASCAR. So getting into that Clash preview, but before we do, we are going to pause for station identification right here on Coach's Corner Sports Network. I'm going to tell y'all, it's pretty chilly out here tonight. Now I know why Coach Carl doesn't want to come up on those nice, cold, brisk Saturday mornings. I'm with you, Coach, but I'm here. I'm prepping for Atlanta. Going to be cold up there, too. I'm prepping, man. I'm drinking ice water, cooler than a penguin, baby. All right, man. Getting into this Clash preview, and I tell you what, man, I'm not going to hate on it. I'm just glad we're back on the track. It's probably my least Clash event, really is, right? I mean, I'm not a staple that says it's got to be at Daytona either, but it's probably one of my least. But the race last year was halfway decent. We saw some excitement. Kyle Busch coming back up through the field, which you won't hear me say this much, but Kyle Busch coming back up through the field was pretty entertaining. And a few, little things here and there that were pretty awesome. So, I expect a lot of the same, We're going to get in a little bit later in the show on what I think they should do with the Clash and how I think they can better grow it. If this is what they're going to head for, or if we're going to head a different direction, maybe some ideas that are being tossed around. But, I like it. It's a spectacle. You're getting eyes on the sport that usually don't see it, and we don't race, in that part of Cali. And I tell you what, man, to pack out the Rose Bowl Coliseum, I mean, that's a pretty cool place to go for a race, At the end of the day, the way it's going down, Saturday, you've got, I think it's NASCAR's Mexico series. They're racing at the Clash. I want to say that's Saturday. You also have heat races for Saturday for the Clash for the Cup cars. Sunday, you get into the last chance qualifier, 75-lap race. Pretty sure 75, I'm not mistaken, 75-lap race for the last 2 spots for the Clash. Then the way we do it, 150 laps. At 75, they stop it, take a little break, and then turn around and run the last 75. So Martin Truex Jr. came home victorious. Oh, yeah, Machine Gun Kelly dropping there. Who's the Grand Marshal, too? I saw somebody today. I liked old school Machine Gun Kelly, like when you first came out or rapping. Hey, whatever. There again, different. Everybody's got a different cup of tea they like. Just not my cup of tea, but he's probably going to put on a great show. I mean, honestly, probably going to rock it out. But at the end of the day, got him there. Got a lot of celebrities, too. I can't remember who the Grand Marshal of that one is, but it's somebody halfway decent, too. I'll keep you posted and remind myself next week after the race to remind y'all on that. But going to be cool, man. Like I said, Truex won it. Can he repeat, or will it be somebody new? We're getting ready to get into the money line. I'm going to tell you guys my top 5 here coming up that I got looked out. Well, money line, we're going to talk a little bit different, more on the odds and profitability that we can do. But, yeah, man, getting into it, my top 5, I got a different guy up top. I got Kyle Larson, number 1 this year. I think that what we saw on some of the flatter tracks last year, he showed some dominance. I think they're going to come with a good piece. I think that Chevrolet in general will be a little bit stronger. I know they both finished on the podium with RCR last year. I expect Hendrick Chevy to run good. So I'll take Kyle Larson, number 1. 2 for me, another short track kind of guru guy that's got it figured out. I think Christopher Bell. I think Christopher Bell is definitely going to show out at this race. I think he's got good potential to have a really good car. Again, short track guy, grew up dirt racing. I again, like Kyle Larson, I don't think what it matters. You put him behind, he's going to figure it out. So I expect them to have a good run. 3 for me. Come on, y'all. I got to put Chase Elliott on here. I'll take Chase Elliott on here. 3. I think that this is a good place for them to showcase coming back. Somewhat strong. Had a decent car last year, not great. I expect them to hit on it a little bit more this year and maybe contend up front. Maybe not win it. Top 10 would be great. Top 7, top 5 would be awesome, but at least maybe be in contention and show some speed. That'd be an awesome deal. 4 for me. Come on, man. Kyle Busch. I got Kyle Busch. 3 Chai Kai. And I tell you what, I've got another prediction for Kyle Busch. I'm going to drop it right now. I think Kyle Busch wins Daytona 500, y'all. I'm going to say it the next 3 weeks. I think Kyle Busch finally gets it, wins the Daytona 500 this year in 2024. I think he's about due. I think that's one of the things on the resume left to click off that he hasn't done, and I think they're going to be extremely hungry for it. He was so close last year, and I think he's got it figured out. He was, got that Talladega win, but I think he's kind of figured out how, barring anybody else's BS, to kind of stay out of it. So that's my prediction. That's the only one I'm giving for the 500 so far. Kyle Busch wins Daytona 500. But I'll take him 4th at the Clash. 5 for me. I tell you what, you got to throw a Gibbs Toyota in there outside of Christopher Bell, but I'm not going to. I'm going 12 of Ryan Blaney. I'm going the Ford of Ryan Blaney, baby. I threw it in there for Lawrence. Oh, he's cussing back there with the Ford symbol. I'll throw $1 in for him. I tell you what, man, I think I expect this team to really kind of hit on some strides off last year and really take a step forward to be a contender week in and week out. We know he's got the talent. We know he can win races. I just want to see it every single week, week in and week out. And I think Ryan Blaney will make his mark and go, yeah, I'm here. I'm here to stay. So should be awesome. But that's my top 5. Dark horses, 2 guys I think you really got to watch out for. 41 and Ryan Preece. I tell you, That's a guy right there that's got to be a dark horse on the list. He had a really good car last year. Did a little different pit strategy, I think, towards the end, if I'm not mistaken, or, you know, something there that kind of got him off compared to everybody else. I want to say stayed out or came in. One of the two. I think he stayed out and everybody else came in. Or a few cars, 3 cars back came in. But going to be awesome. I really like him. Short track guru for sure, if you know anything about that man's career. And I tell you what, the prophet, Ty Gibbs himself, you better watch out for the 54. I'll make another prediction. I'll say another prediction. Ty Gibbs will win a race this year. We'll put that out there. Yeah, the prophet will win a race this year. Where? I don't know. I'm going to take 1.5 miles. I don't think he's quite got it figured out on short tracks yet. I'll go somewhere like Kansas, but I'll pinpoint a track as we get a little bit further further towards the start of the regular season. But as a non-winner, out of the non-Cup Series winners, I'll take Ty Gibbs to get the win this year. So getting into that money line, baby. Money line presented by Redfin Polarized. I don't care if you got money on the line or a wall hanger. Make sure you see it clearly with the best polarized sunglasses on the planet. Italian frames, Carl Zeiss lenses. These glasses are the bomb, obviously. I don't have mine on this time of year, but I rock them out all the time. If you haven't, check them out. They've got some new styles and finishes that just dropped out. The finishes are amazing. I'm actually getting ready to buy a set here, another set this spring, as long as they're in stock. I got to get them when they're in stock because they're hot, baby. They go quick, man. But at the end of the day, man, these sunglasses are made for the woods or the water, or, hey, date night, man. You trying to look good for the ladies? Hey, man, I'm telling you, Redfin's got you covered, man. Like I said, make sure you go out and check that website out. And as always, live life fins up with Redfin Polarized. Check out their website. Use code RubbinandGrubbin15. Save you 15%, man. So odds for the Clash are out. I took a look at them. Everybody's got really good odds for the Clash, man. This is a money-making race right here, buddy. The favorites coming in is Martin Truex Jr. I think he's plus 800 right now. And then you got a couple guys right behind, William Byron, Kyle Larson, looking at plus 950. A little bit deeper in the field, huge value for a lot of skill back a little bit deeper in there. You got the 20 and the 9 of Elliott and, excuse me, y'all, take a sip of water, Christopher Bell, sitting right around 1,400. Which is that's some big value for those guys. Ryan Preece and Gibbs are both over plus 2,000. You can pick a name: Logano, Ross Chastain. All these guys have really good odds. So you know, we're gonna lock some in. I think me and Lawrence, we got to talk and kind of set our boundaries this year on exactly what we're going to try to accomplish and run, as far as if we're taking, you know, the top 3 finish, or we're taking wins, or what we're doing. But make sure you keep up to date with us on Twitter and Facebook. Lawrence does a great job of posting that Saturday and Sunday. Friday night, if we do a truck race and it's available, we do it as well. So you can play along, man. Love to see what you guys, you know, are taking on your slips or betting on, you know, top 3s or for the wins or top 5s. Hey, I'd love to see if I miss one. But at the end of the day, man, make sure you stay up to date with that social media to find out who we're taking and what kind of money. What did we end up doing last year, Lawrence? Do you remember? I know we were in the goods.
12.
What, up 1,200 units or something? Yeah, up 1,200, 1,300 units on the year. So that's not bad, man. We did pretty good. We made money. We didn't lose any money, which is always great because everybody loves to win. So, hey, if you played along with me and you took what I took last year, you'd be up 1,200 units right now, depending on what you bet. But at the end of the day, man, awesome deal and a great opportunity to start the season out good, man. So follow that social, check in with us, man. So getting into that hard right turn, but before we do, which I got to get a hold of them, we're going to give a big shout out to Lamar's Body Shop, baby. 35 plus years taking care of the Savannah area auto collision needs, the best in the business, hands down. I know numerous people, family members, that have had auto collision repair done, paint jobs done. Absolutely amazing job. The best in the Savannah area. Lamar does not cut any corners. He does not fade the funk. He shoots it to you straight. 2301 Skidaway Road, hop, skip, and a jump away from Coaches, so it's a win-win. You can drop the car for an estimate, come right on over here, man, get you a little lunch, go back over, pick the car up, on to the next, man. But again, Lamar's Body Shop, 2301 Skidaway Road. As I always say, why settle for par? Go see Lamar, man. Love you, brother. So getting into that hard right turn, and as I said, we're going to touch base kind of on what my feeling is towards the Clash, right? I grew up with the Clash being that 2-week stay there in Daytona, you know, the whole speed week. You know, you got it run the week before we do the qualifying races and all this stuff, so you got a couple action-packed weeks there, right? And that game's kind of changed, obviously. So I think, for me, and this is just my opinion, NASCAR has hinted, and people have hinted at it, maybe becoming more of a traveling spectacle, right? A stadium series, if you will, I guess. Maybe, we've heard talks of Dallas Cowboy Stadium and some of these other NFL stadiums that are big that they can go and set this up in to kind of bring it around to different areas, right? I'm not a fan of that. That's just me personally. I'm not a fan. If that's what they end up doing, I'm going to watch it. I tell you guys all the time, I'm going to watch it no matter what they do. It's just one of my favorite sports. It's in my blood. I absolutely love it. But it's just not my favorite idea for the Clash. There again, I think it would be great, if you're packing numbers into those stadiums. Again, if it comes with, hey, you've got this going on and this going on, I think for it to take off, you would have to do a little bit more than just the Clash race. But they've got their ideas, and again, more ideas have been thrown out there of bringing it back to Daytona, which I wouldn't be opposed to that at all, but maybe not in the way you're thinking. I don't want to see a non-points paying race where teams have to haul down 4 cars instead of 2 or whatever it may be. And I guess it would still be the same in a way, but I'd love to see the Roval come back. And I know a lot of people online have put that out there. I would love to see the Daytona Roval be run. Whether you run it, for the Clash, or whether you put it back on the schedule and do away with the Charlotte Roval, which is honestly my personal opinion, because the Coca-Cola 600 is such an awesome race, and clearly the next gen's bread and butter, 1.5 miles, so it only makes sense to take away that Roval out of the chase, or out of the playoffs, and put it back on the 1.5 miles and maybe bump, there again, a Daytona Roval. I wouldn't be mad at that, staying at Daytona 2 weeks back-to-back, 500 and then that, or, the Clash and then that. I wouldn't be upset with that. Logistically, it would make more sense to make it a point race and run it after the 500. But at the end of the day, we'll see what they do. I think that's a great idea. Again, I think one of my favorite ideas, and personally what I think they should do with it, is, go to some tracks that are still in good condition, and I don't know what ownership has and what tracks are out there, but if you want to go, we can go to North Wilkesboro, you can go to Rockingham, you can go to, some of these other tracks that are set up. And yeah, you're not going to put X amount of thousand people in it, which I don't know what the attendance is at the Clash. I don't know what it was last year. I didn't look it up. But at the end of the day, if you go in somewhere that has 30,000 seats or 20,000 seats, hey, it's still cool to go and do. You can fill it in like they did at North Wilkesboro and charge a little bit more, whatever they want to do. But I'd be a personal fan. Chicagoland up there in Chicago is still there. Kentucky's still there. I mean, these are just things that they can go and do that you're not going to run during the regular season. But it's also going to help you give a little bit of information for some of the things that you do during the regular season. I think it'd be great. Now, there again, that depends on track condition. That depends on, facility condition. And there again, who owns it and having to put on a race. I know it's a lot easier to do somewhere that already has the facilities ready to roll. So be interesting to see what they do. I just think that there again, the Clash and the Coliseums and stuff is just a travesty to NASCAR. It's a tragedy, man. It just... Again, I don't think there's any reason we should have 20-plus cars on a quarter-mile racetrack trying to go around all at the same time. Again, if you want to make it better and keep it as a stadium, these are my thoughts here. Me and Lawrence were talking about this before you start. You got 24 guys that enter the race, that make the race. At 75 laps halfway through that actual race, when they stop the race, it goes from 24 to 12 or to 14 or to 16 or whatever. I'd say 12. You cut the field in half. Then you got the 12 best cars up front running, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I think that's something for me that I would enjoy seeing, to where we're not going 1 full, 2 full speed laps, caution, waiting 4 or 5 laps, 1, 2 full speed laps, caution, because that's what we ran into last year before. So going to be interesting to see what they do. Those are my thoughts on it. Would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. So if you're watching the show tonight, write in the comments. If you check us out on YouTube on Saturdays when Lawrence gets it posted up there, comment on there, man, and just let me know what you think about that for sure. So that's going to do it for the rubbin', baby. We are on to the grubbin', and I just went with one of my staples tonight, y'all. Look, I've been craving one of these bad boys. I went with one of the staples. You cannot beat this thing. I'm telling you, this is the Mac Daddy of them all. Thank you, Lawrence. Bam! The Grand Slam burger from Coach's, man. This thing is stacked high. 2 half-pound patties, 4 pieces of bacon, 2 pieces of cheese. I got my onion rings, mustard, ketchup, pickles, onions, tomatoes, lettuce. This is by far one of the best burgers in town. I'm telling you guys right now, I live by this burger. I eat this quite often. It is amazing. They will dress it up. You want barbecue sauce on it, you want an onion ring on it, they will do it any kind of way as long as it's inside and feasible means. But great hamburger, man. Again, if you guys haven't come out and checked out the food here at Coach's, I'm telling you now, you guys are missing out. Some of the best food in the area. Awesome place to get together with friends after work. Bring the family out. Just an awesome establishment, man. So that's right here, Coach's Corner, the center of the universe, Thunderbolt, Georgia. Hey, man, like I say, good friends, good food, good times. Come check out Coach's, baby, right here. All right, man, so that is going to wrap it up. Oh, no, it is not. What am I doing? I'm almost forgetting one of the most important supporters of the show, Coach Carl DeMasi, baby, coming out with that Carl DeMasi Sports Prep Sports Report. Good God, I get twisted on that all the time. Keeping you up to date on everything local that's happening down here in your prep sports. Also doing some, national sports here coming up. Won't be long. We'll be getting into baseball, spring training and all this stuff going on. He talks a little bit about that. I'm sure he'll have his Super Bowl predictions coming up, which I'll drop mine. I watch every Saturday, so I'll drop mine. But Saturday, 9 o'clock. Right here at the Sound Garden until Coach runs out. Usually he's been hitting it pretty good, hasn't he, Lawrence? Hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes. Always having some special guests, whether it's coaches from around the local area, star athletes that are coming up through the area. But Coach covers everything: swimming, golf, baseball, football, basketball, lacrosse, bass fishing, archery. What else they got out there now? They're high school sports. I don't even know. You know what I mean? Flag football, I think, for girls is coming soon. I don't know if it's in the state of Georgia yet, but I know it's going down. You know what I mean? So, hey, Coach keeping you up to date. Soccer, everything. Keep you up to date with those big athletes coming to and from in that Savannah area, man. So make sure, again, you tune in every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Coach Carl DeMasi, Prep Sports Report, live right here in the Sound Garden, Coach's Corner on Coach's Corner Sports Network, baby. I love it. So that'll wrap it up, man. We're getting into the outro. I tell you what, thank you guys for sticking with me. Great first start to the season. What are we on, season 4 or 5, Lawrence? I think it's on starting 5. It doesn't even feel like that long. It still feels like we're new up here. Come a long way, I'll say that. We have come a long way. And I'm going to use this moment. I just got to give everybody a big thanks that's ever been a part of that, man. East Coast Logistics out there, Coach's Corner, Arborman Tree Service, Lamar's Body Shop, Redfin Polarized. I mean, absolutely everybody and anybody that has helped out making this show what we have today. Big thanks, and continue to do what you do. None of this is possible. I could sit up here all day long and talk NASCAR. I could sit in my basement and do it. But at the end of the day, I love being here at Coach's. I love being Coach's Corner, part of Coach's Corner's family. I tell you what, the brotherhood and camaraderie here runs so deep. You can pick up and call numerous people that are close to everybody here, and if you need it and they got it, they'll bring it, man. And John and Adele Henderson are 2 of those people for sure that will support anything and everything for this community if it's a good cause. So just glad to be a part of it. I'm looking forward to this year. I think 2024 is going to be a great year for Rubbin' and Grubbin'. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We've got a couple guests coming on throughout the year. We're also going to link up, hopefully here in a couple weeks. I'm not going to drop it yet, but hopefully we're going to do a little tandem show with another NASCAR podcast out there. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that as well. Just waiting to hear back and finalize for sure. But, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm so proud of what this show's become. I can't do it without Lawrence. You guys don't get to see LB very much. He's behind the camera, but he sets it up. He tears it down. He keeps me headed in the right direction, man. I tell you what, just an awesome guy. Love you, Lawrence. Love everybody here on Coach's family. And here's the 2024 Rubbin' and Grubbin' season, baby. The biggest and best yet ever, man. Everybody have a great Wednesday. Get ready. Tune in that Clash on Sunday and get ready for the Super Bowl. Hey, I'm coming up with a new slogan this year. I'm out of hand sanitizer, baby. So I'm just going to end it like this. Like I say all the time, hug your loved ones. Give them a kiss. Tomorrow's not guaranteed. And stay safe out there. As always, y'all, till next time. Love y'all. Ooh, I'm going to get into this burger. I can't wait to get into this burger, Lawrence.